Hi, my name is Drew Dufton and welcome to my presentation. This is an assessment on the effects of hosting a global mega event and the impact it has on its host country. A mega event is a competition that's held on a global scale, attracting mass attention, such as the Olympics or World Cup. These events have multiple countries competing in them, and it's often seen as a privilege to host these tournaments. Topics I'll be covering in this presentation are legacy of hosting events, how countries prepare to bid for these tournaments, and then two case studies. Hosting mega events has both positives and negatives, each affecting different sectors of a country or cities, such as their economy. This slide shows positives and the next will show negatives. One positive of hosting a mega event is investment into infrastructure. The London 2012 Olympics saw $2.4 billion being invested in the transport and surrounding area. This is then left behind after the tournament has finished and allows local people to take advantage for a long time after. You could see this as a reason that forces local government's hand by making them invest in the surrounding infrastructure. Another positive of hosting these events is showing off to other countries and cities. London 2012 was a huge success in both sporting and economic terms. By showcasing London to other people, tourism and business would receive a boost, allowing for more investment. The majority of people in 18 out of 21 countries said the Olympics was a big source of national pride, according to BBC. Showing off to other people, and especially tourists, will help boost the number of people visiting a country or city, resulting in social and economic benefits. A third positive would be raising awareness for big issues in the country. The biggest case of this is the ongoing disputes about whether Qatar should have been allowed to host the 2022 World Cup due to human rights issues going on. Without the World Cup, it's possible that workers and human rights issues wouldn't have had a spotlight shone on them, at least not for a little while longer. Over 24,000 workers have suffered from human rights abuse during the building of stadia and facilities in Qatar since they won the right to host in 2010. Raising awareness is one key way for issues to be challenged. This is exemplified by Qatar hosting World Cup, as well as a club like Newcastle and Man City being taken over by Middle Eastern owners. One big negative of hosting mega events is what happens to facilities after an event is finished. We've seen in previous years how facilities can be left when an event has finished. One example is what happened after 1992 Barcelona Olympics, what happened to its Olympic Stadium. This is a massive amount of money that can go to waste if facilities aren't sold off, like London Stadium. It also means that City isn't getting any return on the investment after an event has finished if facilities aren't used or sold off. This not only means that money spent to build facilities has been wasted, but it means that other businesses can't develop or build new things on grounds that are taken up by current facilities. Another negative of hosting events is what can happen after the event to businesses. A massive boom will take place in the area due to an increase in tourism. This helps businesses grow and new ones to be set up. However, a drop in income after an event is finished could be fatal. This is especially the case if governments and councils don't invest money that they get back into an area. This could result in the business going under and possibly more unemployment. Another negative impact is the rising taxes to pay for an event. Londoners are still paying a tax for Olympics in 2017 despite having paid off the £625 million owed. A budget by London's mayor still had this tax included and was used to provide for other projects. This is a problem for locals in the area, especially if this money is invested back into an area. It can also have knock-on effects into the economy as people have less disposable income to put into the economy, having an effect on businesses. Winning the right to host large events is often seen as a huge honour, as we've already discussed, bringing great benefits. Events are allocated to host years and years in advance to give them proper time to build all infrastructure and facilities. Some events have controversy surrounding them due to how hosts may have won the vote. Qatar has been a very controversial choice for a 2022 World Cup. One reason is for a lack of infrastructure, with football only being a small sport in Qatar compared to many countries in Europe and South America. Lots of facilities and stadiums didn't exist when voting was done. This has been made into a bigger point due to workers and human rights issues going on. Qatar is having to spend $220 billion on the World Cup, making it the most expensive World Cup ever by over $200 billion, according to Front Office Sports. This is being spent on facilities, hotels, and transport in anticipation for 1.5 million fans, according to BBC, expected to travel, as well as 32 teams taking part. This is one area for criticism, as people argue other countries should be chosen instead, as they already have facilities. Britain has always struggled to gain the right to host events, despite having a big reputation for sport. Britain's only hosted the Olympics and World Cup 4 times combined, with all these events being in England. A bid is planned for UK and Ireland to host the 2028 Euros, according to Stock Sport. Some people argue that Britain should have hosted the 2018 or 2022 World Cup because the facility is already in place and the popularity of football already being massive. However, accusations have been made against Qatar and Russia of where there was an element of bribery involved when they were selected to host their respective World Cup. The 2012 London Olympics was one of the biggest mega events in recent history, becoming a huge success for London, as well as showcasing the sporting talent Britain has to offer. The London Olympics provided massive bonuses during and after. Between August and September, over 470,000 overseas visitors came over, spending over £709 million during this period. This money was bigger than the tax put on Londoners to pay for the Olympics. This massive amount of money was being pumped into the tourist and business industry, massively boosting the area. This amount of money would have a big effect on the economy, as it gives business owners more money to spend, whether that be on their own business or to pump back into the economy. The increase in investment means more profit and an increase in development. However, businesses may struggle after the period. Also, a huge boom in the economy attracts other businesses and firms to invest in the area, helping to improve infrastructure as well as providing more in taxes. Unemployment is one of the biggest problems that governments face, and hosting the Olympics meant that 46,000 people were employed to build the stadia, 10% of whom were previously unemployed. Having more people in employment has both social and economic effects. An economic effect is people with jobs have disposable income to pump into the economy. It also means that the government can raise more through taxes. The social effect is, with a lower unemployment rate, means there's a lower crime rate as well as a lower rate of homelessness. Hosting large events also gives a city/nation a chance to raise its profile. London, however, was already a massive capital, so hosting the Olympics probably wouldn't have done it much to raise its profile. However, it did give a chance for London to show off and promote itself to people by having the Games be a huge success. London was able to increase its number of tourists and attract more investors into the area. This was in different sectors such as business and property development. Countries such as Qatar and Russia, however, will and they try to use the World Cup to boost their appeal to tourists. The 2022 Qatar World Cup has received lots of criticism among reports of corruption within FIFA and the voting process for the World Cup. Big questions were asked of former President Sepp Blatter, who has been accused of being bribed, among other FIFA administrators, to select Qatar. Other questions were asked about the current political state of Qatar, with media attention being drawn to human rights issues as well as LGBTQ rights. We still aren't sure if LGBTQ fans will be able to attend matches, as well as workers' rights not being improved since attention was drawn to it. However, there are two sides. Some people say that Qatar should have a World Cup. FIFA will see it as a way to introduce new markets and exposure to the game. Football's popularity in Europe and South America means that a World Cup isn't needed to expand its market. However, the Middle East has a small football fan base similar to most sports. The Middle East is also one of the richest places on earth. We've seen other areas where Middle Eastern countries and businessmen have invested, such as Sheikh Mansour. Also, with Saudi Arabia buying the rights to host the Spanish Super Copa final, despite backlash from fans and media. Other attempts have been made successfully, with Anthony Joshua having his rematch with Andy Ruiz being held in Saudi Arabia. Overall, mega events are a massive part of sport and provide us all with a way to watch our favourite team and athletes compete on the high stage against the best opponents. There are both negatives and positives of hosting these events. I would say, however, that it is worth it for countries and cities to try and host these events, as the benefits are bigger than negatives. Sport is a crucial part of people's lives, and hosting these events gives people of the country something to be proud of, as well as inspiring new people to take part. This comes with all the economic and social benefits as well. This is a bibliography page. Thanks for watching.